In an old neighborhood in Boston, there was an ancient house known as the Harris House. It had been abandoned for many years, but carried a chilling story. People spoke of strange happenings there, but no one dared to approach. Tom, a young man in his 20s, had recently moved to the city in search of work. He had always dreamed of being a journalist and decided to kick off his adventure with an article about the haunted house. He gathered some information from local residents and discovered that the Harris family, who had lived in the house, mysteriously disappeared 25 years ago. On a stormy night, Tom decided to visit the house. The sky was overcast, and the wind howled through the trees. Upon his arrival, he felt something unusual. The atmosphere was charged with energy. He tried to open the door, but it was tightly locked. Using all his strength, he pushed the door open, which creaked ominously. Tom entered the house, and a musty odor filled the air. The furniture was covered in dust, and the walls were cracked, as if time had stopped there. He began to explore the rooms one by one until he reached the living room. There was a large portrait of the Harris family hanging on the wall. He gazed at the picture and saw their smiling faces, but their eyes were hollow, as if hiding a dark secret. As he explored, Tom heard whispers coming from the upstairs. Deciding to follow the sound, he climbed the old staircase, which creaked under his feet. Upon reaching the second floor, he found a slightly ajar door. Cautiously, he approached and discovered a bedroom filled with old toys. But what caught his attention was a small doll wearing a white dress. It reflected the moonlight, and when he got closer, he felt something strange, as if the doll was looking at him. Tom reached out to touch it, but suddenly the lights went out. Tom began to feel fear creeping in again, but he also felt a surge of courage. "Where is it?" he asked. She pointed to the dark corner of the room. Tom approached it, and he could feel the cold seeping into his bones, hearing the whispers grow ominous. "Tom," said the voice, "you had no right to enter my world." The darkness began to form into a human-like figure, its eyes glimmering with malice. "You came to hurt my family, and I will not allow that." Tom took a step forward, despite the fear surging through him. "I'm here to help them. I don't want to hurt you." But the spirit laughed. "You freed them, but what you did was not enough. You must pay the price." Tom pondered for a moment. He knew he could not abandon the girl and the spirits of the Harris family. "No, I won't leave them. I will do what is needed." At that moment, a tremendous energy surged around him. Tom struggled to recall everything he had learned about horror and spirits. He took a deep breath and shouted, "I am here for them, and I am not afraid of you." Suddenly, a powerful force exploded from his body, radiating in all directions. He felt the tension and pressure, but something strange occurred. A feeling of liberation washed over him, as if the angry spirit was losing its power. The dark figure began to fade, and he heard the spirit scream as it retreated into the darkness. When the struggle ended, silence filled the room. Tom, panting from exhaustion, looked around. The little girl gazed at him with a wide smile. "You did it, Tom. You truly freed us." He felt a surge of energy flow through him. "Where are you now? Are you finally free?" "Yes, we are free now," said the girl. "Thank you. You were the courage we needed." As she began to drift away, the room started to fade. Suddenly, Tom found himself outside the house, where sunlight streamed down on the city. He looked back and saw the house dissolving into mist. Tom became an even more renowned author after that experience, publishing another book recounting his adventures and encounters with ghosts. Yet, despite his success, he never forgot what had happened in the Harris house, and he always kept the memories of that little girl who made him confront his greatest fears and liberated souls that had suffered for years. Not only written an article, he had undergone a mysterious experience, one he would share with the world. After some time, Tom published a book about his experience and became well known as a horror writer. But as he wrote, he always felt the little girl watching him, surrounded by the shadows of the past. Continuation of the story. Echoes of the past. After becoming a well-known author, Tom began receiving letters from his readers who were fascinated by his story. Many asked for more details about his experience in the Harris house. However, as he responded to them, strange things started happening in his life. Every time he wrote, he felt something eerie watching him. There were faint lights appearing in the corners of the room, and whispers coming from afar, as if the ghosts were still following him. One night, while he was writing at his desk, he clearly heard a voice saying, "Tom, we need you." His heart stopped. The voice was clear, the same childish tone he had heard in the Harris house. Trembling with fear, he realized he had to confront this matter once more. There was something unfinished, and he knew he had to return. The following night, Tom decided to revisit the Harris house. The sky was overcast, and moonlight pierced through the clouds. Upon his arrival, he felt something different. The house seemed more alive than before, as if the spirits he had freed were reaching out to him. He entered the house and began wandering through the rooms again. Everything looked as it did, but he felt an unmistakable shift in energy. He approached the bedroom that held the doll and found it sitting in the middle of the room. The doll was dressed in a new gown, as if it had been restored. Suddenly, the back door of the room swung open, and the little girl appeared once more. She was smiling, but her eyes were filled with sorrow. "Tom, we need your help again," she said. "We haven't been able to leave completely." "How?" Tom asked, his anxiety rising. "How can I help you?" The girl replied, "There is another curse, things we didn't tell you. When you freed us, you left something of the past behind. There is an angry spirit in this house, and it is still here. You must confront this spirit to complete the process." His body trembled, but he tried to stay composed. He decided to head downstairs, but as he attempted to leave, the door slammed shut behind him. He struggled to open it, but it was sealed tightly. The sound grew louder, and the whispers called out, "Tom, come to us." He stepped back, pondering how to escape. He noticed a window was open, so he tried to approach it, but before he could reach it, he felt something touch his shoulder. He turned quickly, but there was no one there. A chill swept through the room, as if a spirit hovered around him. He resolved to search for another exit and spotted another door in the corner. He pushed it open and stepped into the hallway. He continued walking until he reached another room, where he found an old photo album. As he opened it, he saw pictures of the Harris family, but they were marred by scratches and distortions. Suddenly, he heard a loud scream. The children's voices rose, as if they were calling for help. Tom resolved to return to the first floor, but he had lost his sense of direction. He wandered through the hallways, and each time he tried to find his way, he ended up in the same rooms. His breath quickened, and he began to fear he might never escape. In that moment, he recalled the story he had heard about the family. It was said they were victims of a curse, and their spirits were trapped in the house. Suddenly, a vision of the little girl appeared before him, wearing the same white dress as the doll. She looked at him, pleading for help, but her eyes were filled with tears. "Help me, please," the girl cried. Tom's heart ached. He decided he would help her and began to speak to her. "What happened to you? Why are you here?" She answered in a trembling voice, "We are stuck here, and we cannot leave." At that moment, Tom realized he had to confront his fear. He resolved to find courage. "We'll find a way out, don't worry," he told her. He continued searching for an exit, and when he sensed the house starting to collapse, he led the girl toward the window. He pushed the window open forcefully, helping the girl escape first. He followed her, and as they both fled, he felt an overwhelming urge to run. But before leaving, he heard the whispers once more, though they were different now. They were saying, "Thank you. You have freed us." Tom looked back and saw the shadows of the family fading into the darkness. He left the house and returned to the street. As he walked away, he realized he had,